Okay, this is a quick video on airport bookings. So let's just say somebody's called, and client recognition will pull in their name and their history if they've used this before. If on the odd occasion, however, it failed, let's hope far less than it does at the moment, you'd enter your number in, and if they're a new customer, nothing would happen, but if they're an existing customer, it'll pull in details from previous jobs they've done. So you can see lots by the looks of it. If we just say pick details, because it's a fresh booking and it's not anything they've had before, it'll put their name in and the number, and then it leaves everything else blank. So if we're going to have a round trip, this is just based on a return booking for an airport. It could be just a pickup from an airport, in which case it's one way, or take it from Hereford to an airport, in which case you don't necessarily need flight details. They are useful, however, because you can monitor it. The driver can monitor it in the car just to keep the customer updated, but that's up to them. So to pull up an airport, you start off by typing A for airport, space, and then the first letter of whatever airport you want. So if it's Bristol or Birmingham, you'd use B, or Bournemouth too. Cardiff, C. Gatwick, G. Heathrow should give you lots. There's all your terminals, which is great. Even London, you've got London Airport. So for this booking, we're going to look at a flight from Bristol. So if we say Bristol Airport, well, first of all, I need to look at flying out and then coming back. So I'm actually going to type Dorchester Way now, just as an example, because so we're going from Hereford, Dorchester Way, and we want to go to Bristol Airport. So let's come up with our map, etc., etc. The next field that's come to is which type of vehicle you want. If you can, from here you can pick a bus or a car. There are other attributes on the system where you can select. For instance, if they said, if you look further down, just below journey type, which is one-way return or wait and return, you can select your number of passengers. And if it was just 4 passengers, we'll say six bags. That might be a squeeze getting it into a standard car. So on the attributes list, which I'll show you in a bit, probably on another video, you can select an estate, for instance, where that would be enough. Or if it was just that one extra person, you'd need to swap this to a bus. So the outbound, it doesn't give you an option at this stage. I was going to talk to Cab Treasury about adding flight details for this because it's useful for the driver. If, however, we're going to do the return, so let's just say outbound now, the customer's told us that their flight departs at, well, let's have a look what we've got. So this is going to be going out departure at 10:15 on the 10th of January. So if we select the pickup date and go to the 10th, that's the one collecting. The flight departs at 10:15, and we need to allow, let's just get that to 15, 2 hours for check-in and 2 hours of Bristol for getting there. We ideally want to be picking the customer up at 6:15 in the morning. As with airport bookings, we usually allocate a car. Now you can tick this, click on the down arrow there and scroll through, once it's ticked, of course, the list of drivers we've got. Or you can just type the car number in there. So if I just say, sorry about that, you need to put R for rank because that's what's in. So if we say R26, we've got that one, that's popped up. We don't bid, so that doesn't need to be ticked. You can leave it on auto dispatch, but being as it's a pre-booking that's allocated to a driver, it's probably going to be watched anyway, and no doubt the driver will be calling saying, when's my booking coming out. You might want to get a landline number as well. I don't know, mobiles are pretty important with picking up from an airport. Emails, I think I mentioned this in a previous video. If you put the customer's email address in there, use an F11 off the keyboard, or from within the booking, once you've double clicked on it, you can send them a confirmation email if they choose to receive information that way. Special requirements is quite useful, and this applies to any job. You can type in specific information just for this job, or if the customer has, as it says, special requirements, that's going to apply to any job they do, you can click permanent and put whatever it is in here you need to, and then whenever they book a job on this number or possibly a landline that they're using, it will always apply the special requirements to any job that's booked, which is a nice feature, because those keynotes, you know, if the person needs help in some way, we've always got it on the screen, and there's no excuse then that the drivers are saying you didn't put it on the booking. So that's great. That fixes it permanently. Okay, so in this instance we want a return booking taken as well. You could one thing I've just overlooked slightly, we've fixed fares, as you know, on airports, so you'd need to put the quoted price in there. I can't remember what a Bristol is, but I'm going to put that, and that job could be ready to go. But if the customer's ready to book a return as well, you just come up to journey type and click on return, and that adds these extra fields over here, which are the important ones. Again, there could be more special requirements for the return journey. So if we come back up here, excuse me, obviously for the return, the flight info is going to be pretty important, so we need to get the flight number, which in this case is EasyJet 6254, and that's going to be coming in from Lisbon. And they've requested return from, so it's coming in from Lisbon to Bristol, and return from, I'm guessing, I would have thought it would have swapped these around anyways, but if we populated that as Dorchester Way, we've got the relevant information to go into the return job then. And then we need to come down to this is quite important because we've added it, the return pickup time. So this one we've booked in for Friday the 11th, so we need to go to the 11th, and on this particular one it arrives at 13:15. So allowing for them to come through, we could say you'd allow, well, I'm going to say there's 30 minutes or so, and then we want to allow time to get to the airport, so we need to be leaving at 11:40. If you, as we do, we use the same driver rather than clicking here and putting another driver on, which you can as an option if the same driver is available to do the one way but not the other. But usually, because we use the same driver, you just come over to here and click that same allocation to return driver, and it'll put the relevant information in there. And the other thing that's changed now is in fares again, it's added a return fare. So we leave quoted ticked and we just add the return fare, which should be, if it's a straightforward booking, the same as the outbound fare. And that pretty much is everything within the booking. There's payment options here which we can discuss in another video. We can get into that, and there's a nice little feature with this system. If I save that down now that all the information's in, if we go to pre-bookings, scroll up to the top, you can see tomorrow very early there's the booking we've made, waiting for car 25, which you can open up and double check. Everything's all in order, so that's all gone in well. It's showing you the return information as well. Now on the 13th there should be one for the return to, which should have gone in. There's a couple there, that's from another test earlier on, but that's the one I believe we've booked in. Yeah, so there's the return. So they've gone in okay. So when you come back to the dashboard now, this airport arrivals information up here usually gives you info for up to 48 hours. So it should, when you pull it up, anything happening now, say we've got a driver on its way, it'll give you the information there, and if anything's changed you can click on a little button here that says update, which will real-time update our job on our system and the driver's PDA. If we go over the next 48 hours, there's the booking in for the 11th. Okay, it's not showing you any scheduled or delayed times because obviously it's not in the air yet, but once that's in, it'll show you any adjustments. And you simply, what I was saying about clicking update, you click there and it'll update everything. So if the driver's on his way and there's a sudden change, it'll make a noise on his app, and he'll see that then that the time's changed, and he'll know that if he's on his way there and he's nearly there and there's a half-hour delay, he can pull in somewhere rather than sitting in the car park spending a fortune. And that's basically an airport booking. I'll go into some further details on other parts in the next video. Thank you very much, and speak to you soon.